Alright man, before we jump into the video, I just want to come out the gate and say, this is one of them topics I would have strayed away from in the past. But I promised myself that if I found it interesting and I wanted to talk about it, I would make a video on it, even if it's one of those things that people might not want to hear, or if it's one of those things that might be a little bit controversial. I do not know everything. I'm just a cat that make videos, and this is meant to be a simple discussion video. But it's something I'm forced to think about pretty often, as I do have a young son. He's 2 years old, and when I tell you this cat got an arm in perfect form, like, he's gonna be a beast. Anyway, if you disagree with any of my points in the video, great. Let me know in the comment section why you disagree. We can have a civil adult discussion about this thing. All right, let's go.
So today we are at Valley Christian High School in San Jose, our final live speed test of the rules of the American Flag Football League. What we wanted to see was our rules in action, see the timing, see the spacing, and make sure that everything is working. We have to do some work because this game is not unified. There's no one set of rules that everybody says, that's flag football, that's how you play flag football. We're gonna play 7-on-7 on a full field. We're gonna throw the ball off to start the game, okay? So just like when you're a kid and you're in the backyard, that's how you start the game, okay? The first time you have to get a first down, you have to get over the 50. If the quarterback isn't rushed, the ball's got to be out of his hands by 4.
So is this actually the future of pro football? Now, in my opinion, the answer to that question is ultimately no. And while I assume that most of y'all will agree with me, this is still a fun mental exercise, and it's the first time that I really thought about it. And to be honest with you, it actually is a slight possibility. Now, the American Flag Football League was formed last year in 2017. Its founder, Jeff Lewis, spent nearly a year building up the league, from setting up unique rules to getting investors and, of course, finding players. And with cats like Michael Vick and Chad Johnson, the league already has a ton of credibility. It's also aired on NFL Network and on the NFL's YouTube channel, which is pretty much as official as you're gonna get. Now, if you haven't checked any of these games out, I would suggest that you do so, because it's honestly a lot more entertaining than you might think. The league is doing well, and they're constantly gaining new sponsorship. One of the most recent additions is Bud Light, which is obviously pretty big deal. Today I want to have a discussion of why some pros think that this could possibly one day replace pro football altogether. And I want to offer a couple of counterpoints that are a little bit more sophisticated than "I'll just stop watching." So like the video if you like it, subscribe, and enable your notifications if you're brand new so that you can see every time I post. Without further ado, cue the Wayne. So there's been some chatter on social media that we could in fact be watching the future of pro football. Before you react to that, consider the fact that CTE is a growing issue in the sport, and after we recently lost former Washington State quarterback Tyler Helinski to suicide, his brain was scanned and they found that he indeed had CTE, and at the age of only 21, he had the brain of a 65-year-old. This was extremely sad news, and it's very scary. Before Tyler, to my knowledge, we'd only heard about this happening in older retired players. But this is a guy who is very young and played the quarterback position, which isn't known as a position to take a ton of hits. These situations are hard to talk about. They're terrifying to hear, and for that reason I think most football outlets don't speak on these too much. But we do have to face that reality. That leads to the question, what is the future of the sport? Will we accept that this is just a part of the game and send our kids out to play Pop Warner? I don't know, man. It's a tough thing to think about. For those of y'all who don't know, I played football myself. I learned tons of valuable lessons about life. Things that I think still help me till this day. And it seems that the majority of players are not having this affliction, but once you're aware of it, you really can't forget about it. Now, according to my understanding, although I'm not a medical expert, CTE generally forms from repeated blows to the head over time, not one or two big hits or freak accidents. If that's the case, Playing flag football would absolutely cut down on this quite a lot. At the same time, flag football cuts out a huge portion of the game, and while we love it, big physical backs would cease to exist, and a lot of players who are super athletic but don't have the heart or toughness to excel in this game, if the pads were removed, those guys will have a field day.
Oh, unbelievable.
I don't know what happened on that play. Pinkston turned his shoulder away from it and didn't go after the ball.
You've heard of alligator arms? This is alligator body. Todd Pinkston has got a touchdown. Watch this. He now sees the safety coming from the left. That ball's in the air. He does not want to get hit.
Holy cow.
Ryan Clark, he sees Ryan Clark. This is a great way to lose your job.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
And a lot of tough, gritty guys would be out of a job. Then there's the linemen to consider. Now, there are some flag leagues that use linemen, but it's obviously not the same. And currently, the biggest league, as far as I'm concerned, is the American Flag Football League, and they do not use linemen. Personally, I think there are some other much less drastic options to make the game a lot safer without basically making it a completely different game. Companies like Scud are developing helmets such as the F7 that have moving tectonic plates that help absorb the impact, thus helping to further protect the brain. And I'm pretty confident that this is only the beginning of technology stepping in and making the game safer, especially once they see how much money there is to be made in doing so. I know it's sad that you have to bring that up, but that is what generally motivates progress. Also, we've seen the rules change dramatically to help protect the players from head-on collisions, and this will continue over time, as it has to if they want this game to survive long term. Football is so ingrained in our culture. I believe that it would take quite a while for it to completely go away, and we aren't backing down or stepping away from the sport at all. As a matter of fact, there are 2 more pro leagues that are about to begin within the next year or 2 in this country. The game has made great strides in becoming safer, but still has a pretty long way to go. That's not to take away from flag football or 7-on-7. I currently watch tons of that content on YouTube, and I actually have plans to cover some of it. A lot of people have suggested that the younger kids play flag and you only get into padded football as you get older and older. I understand the logic there, and of course that's gonna lie with each individual parent, but it may be a better option for kids to learn how to tackle and take hits properly at the younger ages, as opposed to never wearing pads and then being introduced to it once everybody's super fast, big, and strong. Again, I don't know if that's the correct answer, and I'm not sure which route I'm gonna go with my son. In closing, flag football is great, and leagues like the AFFL are a great way to pass time during the off season. It's dope because we get to see some of our favorite players back on the field, playing the game the way that most of us started, with a ball and a couple friends competing and going at it. And I honestly don't even think that flag football has reached its peak. I think the peak for flag football will be once it becomes a little bit more like the Drew League in basketball, where we see more current stars playing in the league, as a way to stay in shape and play ball during the off season. I think we'll start to see more and more of that in the next few years, and I also think we'll continue to see the helmet technology continue to evolve. This is a difficult topic, I know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm not claiming to be right or wrong here. This is strictly my opinion. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new. My name is FlemLo Raps. I'm gonna holler at you next time. Peace.
Quickly, number 2.
Himself, he's got to run 25 yards.
T.O. is in the center. Now Dawson just throws it into the end zone for the jump ball.
Kerry Rhodes caught
No blitz. 4th and goal. Vic in tight quarters.
Wow, what a pass to Rodriguez for the touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm a go-getter.